This is Paul Newman, and if you are seeing this screen, I am hoping to assure you here that the live stream. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Thank you very much for taking the time to join me today, as always. It is very much appreciated. Here on Irish 2000 Guineas Day, we've just seen the Aidan O'Brien trained Gustad land the Irish 2000 Guineas in good style from Distant Music, held in second. So what better time is there now to take a look at another horse that is trained and based currently in the UK ahead of the Irish 1000 Guineas tomorrow. So, but before that, as always, I like to mention my Patreon channel in these videos, Newman Racing it is called. Especially if you're into national hunt racing, I think you will find my Patreon quite beneficial. It is where the vast majority, I would say 95% of the national hunt racing can be found at the moment. It's always also the place I do the yearly reviews as well, where some horses have aged a year. They've lost their form. Some of them have been gelded. Some of them have retired from stud. It's just a way of polishing up the list, really, removing some exposed horses to make way for some other ones. Normally, 3-year-olds come in and 3-year-olds go out, and a few older horses. There's also a few resources on there that I've uploaded throughout the years. You know, it's a pretty useful platform, Patreon, for things like that. Newman Racing, it's called. Why not head over there for yourself and see what you make of it? You never know; it might be for you at some level. But now it's time to look ahead to classicwatch26.great/site.net. That is this year's incarnation of Classic Watch. You'll see there are 9 theatres now currently on the site. The Roll of Honour is coming together very nicely indeed at the moment. Plenty of 2-year-old wins from 2025, and 2026 is coming together quite nicely at the moment. Obviously, as we add more horses, then there will be more happening on there. But you'll see that some of the horses are doing quite well at the moment. Obviously, unfortunately, we didn't have a runner in the Classic that has just ran, the Irish 2000 Guineas. But we're making up for that tomorrow with the Japanese Oaks and the Irish 1000 Guineas that are taking place. classicwatch26.great/site.net. Could the site feature this horse here? Sukanya is the name of the horse. A 3-year-old filly trained by Jack Shannon in the UK and owned by Opulence Thoroughbreds and Partners for 3. I imagine it's some sort of a syndicate. They'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, several horses. Sukanya herself is sired by Havana Grey out of a dam called Sheba, who herself was sired by Rail Link, and the horse was bred by Corpse Commerce Limited. Interesting horse this. People will see that if they look at the form of it, it actually ticks a couple of interesting boxes. The horse managed to win first time out on the 24th of June 2025 in a 6-furlong race held at Newbury, where she beat Country Artiste by 1 length, running to a Racing Post rating of only 76 on debut when ridden by George Bass. Since then, it's been pattern races all the way for her. 26th of July 2025, she ran at Ascot in the Group 3 Princess Margaret Stakes, where she could only finish 7th of 10, beaten 4.5 lengths by Fitzella. But she was allocated an improved mark of 84 for that performance. She then went to Goodwood again, up to 7 furlongs, and kept to Group 3 level to contest the Group 3 Prestige Stakes, where on this occasion she managed to finish 4th out of 7, beaten 3.25 lengths by Precise, who was a runner in the UK 1000 Guineas the other week. Again, she was allocated an improved rating of 93 on that day. The next 2 runs, she sort of looked to have hit a brick wall. She was 2nd out of 8, beaten 2.25 lengths by Diamond Necklace in a listed race at Leopardstown, the listed Ingerbell Stakes, where she ran to a Racing Post rating of 91 for 2.25 length defeat there. And then, on what proved to be her last start of 2025 as a 2-year-old. She was well beaten in the 7 furlong race, 9th out of 10, behind Xanthos in the Group 2 Rockvale Stakes, where again she turned in her worst performance of her career, where she ran to a mark of 74. However, she then came out on her first start at 3 on the 18th of April 2026 in the Group 3 Fred Darling Stakes at Newbury, a race a traditional UK 1000 Guineas trial at Newbury, and she managed to defeat Too Lean, a horse that was a 5th or 6th in the UK 1000 Guineas the other week, by 3/4 of a length on the day. And she was, for that performance, she was allocated a career best Racing Post rating of 103 on the day. So I think it's fairly clear to see that this horse has taken a step forward from 2 to 3, and she has managed to win a Group 3 trial over 7 furlongs at 3, which put her firmly in the picture, as well as her winning first time out. You'll see her career. She's had 6 wins, 2 seconds, 2 wins and a second out of 6 starts, for total career earnings so far of £80,345 UK pounds in her career. Interesting filly, Sukanya. If people look at her pedigree on the Pedigree Online Thoroughbred database, they will see that this horse is actually a 1X dam line horse, one of my favourite dam lines that there is at the moment. Sukanya. And I do think that she is worth chancing. There will always be stamina doubts with this stallion, Havana Grey, who is a good stallion, I think, albeit of sprinters and not necessarily classic horses. 8 is a mile, isn't it? And this stallion's index of 6.3 furlongs would suggest they are better at sprint distances. But this horse has managed to win over 7 furlongs, and she has won a trial, and she is on the dam line I like. You'll see the Pedigree Online Thoroughbred database is up to date on this horse. £80,345 in Great Britain and Ireland, 6 starts, 2 wins and a second. 3 out of 6 in the first 2. What we're going to do with this horse is it's another 1X dam line that I've chanced. This is one that we looked at quite closely in the Kentucky Derby just recently, with the winner of the UAE 2000 Guineas. So we will end up at that horse, and I will include a card to the video, a YouTube video containing that horse. We'll take a look at the first 4 or 5 dams of this horse and find any decent horses that I can find along the way. But a lot of the good horses that this horse is related to, are looked in other videos. And then we will take a quick look at it on the historical dam line, and then we will watch the horse Sukanya win 2 races. We'll watch her win first time out at Newbury at 2, and then we'll watch her win the Group 3 Fred Darling Stakes this year at Newbury as well. So without further ado, let's get cracking, shall we? The first dam of the horse is called Sheba, a mare born in 2012, sired by Rail-Link, out of a dam called Simba's Dream, a USA-bred mare who was born in 2006. Sheba raced 4 starts in her career. She did manage to win 1 race, for career earnings of €13,950 in France. Very lightly raced horse, owned by Qatar Racing and Equery de Monco, and bred by Harras de Maneville, trained by Andreas Wohler, and the filly raced in France and Germany. We know that she is a black type producer, as I've looked at the black type winning horse, Sukanya. Very interesting horse, I think, this one. It's fair to say. I did find a couple of horses related between the second and the third dam to look at. La Gomeuse is a mare born in 2014, sired by Zamindar, out of Simba's Dream. So this horse is a half-sister to our dam of our horse. La Gomeuse raced 8 times in her career, 2 wins and a second. 3 out of 8 starts in the first 2, for career earnings of €28,543 racing in Italy. This horse did have a little bit of pattern race form. The horse managed to win an Italian listed race, the Gran Premio Mario Incisa della Rocchetta, and the horse was also placed in the listed Premio Serenio, both those races held at San Siro. The trainer was Il Cavallo in Testa in Italy, and the horse raced in Italy and France in a career. Another one bred by Harras de Manaville and owned by Il Cavallo in Testa. So yeah, an Italian listed winner on the flat related to our dam. I also found this horse here, Wakul, a gelding, born in 2016, sired by Motivator out of Simba's Dream. So again, this is a half-brother to the first dam of our horse. Wakul raced 23 times in his career, 7 wins, 6 seconds and 6 thirds. 19 out of 23 starts in the first 3. For career earnings of £101,117 UK pounds. The horse raced in France and Great Britain in his career. This horse was actually a decent hurdler. The horse at 7 won the 2023 Grade 2 Rendlesham Hurdle, a race held at Haydock in the UK. Another one bred by SCEA Harras de Manaville, owned by P. Marr and J. Baxter, and at some points by Turkin, Borwick, Dunning and Ellis. Yeah, Grade 2 Rendlesham Hurdle winner there, Wakul, another one related to the dam of our horse. We can take a look at the second dam of our horse now, Simba's Dream, a mare born in 2006, sired by Vindication out of a dam called Lyfard Gal, who was born in 1990 and sired by Lyfard. Simba's Dream raced 11 times in her career, 3 wins, a second and a third, 5 out of 11 starts in the first 3, for career earnings of €6,100 in France in her career. Not a bad horse, Simba's Dream. She managed to finish 3rd in the Prix Derby du Languedoc of 2009, a French listed race, when trained by Jean-Christophe Rouget, sent to Great Britain and later to Ireland. And we know that she is a black type producer also from the horses that we've looked at. This horse, Simba's Dream, bred by Fast Track Farms and owned by Écurie Ian Fares and Harras de Manaville again in France. But yeah, so we've got the first 2 dams are okay. One of them won and one of them was placed in a listed race. But obviously some people would prefer a little bit better than that. Another horse I found was a Heritage of Gold. Heritage of Gold was a mare born in 1995, sired by Gold Legend out of Lyfard Gal. So this mare is a half-sister to the second dam of our horse, Simba's Dream. Heritage of Gold raced 28 times in her career, 16 wins, 2 seconds and 4 thirds. 22 out of 28 starts in the first 3, for career earnings of $2,381,762 in her career. What a filly. Heritage of Gold, brilliant filly at 4, 5 and 6. At 4, she won the Group 2 Diana Handicap. She also won the Group 2 Molly Pitcher Breeders' Cup at Monmouth. And she was 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Distaff Group 1 and the Go for Wand Handicap Group 1. At 5, she won the Go for Wand Handicap Group 1, and she also won the Apple Blossom Handicap, the Louisville Breeders' Cup Group 2, Fleur de Lis Handicap Group 3, the Oaklawn Breeders' Cup Group 3, 2nd in the Group 1 Personal Ensign Handicap, and 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. And at 6, the horse managed to add another Group 3 to her tally, winning the Oaklawn Breeders' Cup. So this horse is a multiple pack race winner, Group 1 and Group 2 level. Horse bred by Georgia E. Hoffman and owned by Camille Gary and Jack Gary. Excellent 1X filly. Sadly, though, I couldn't find any record of her breeding anything that was any good, sadly. But she was a very good horse on the track, it's fair to say. We can take a look now at the third dam of our horse, Lyfard's Gal, a mare born in 1990, sired by Lyfard, out of a dam called Gallant Sister, an American-bred mare who was born in 1981 and sired by Viggers. Third dam of our horse, Lyfard Gal, is unraced, so there's not really much of a racing career to talk about there. I did find nothing really. Gallant Sister is the fourth dam of our horse, a mare born in 1981, sired by Viggers, out of a dam who was born in 1972, called Special Account, who was sired by another 1X stallion, Buck Passer. who's on the Busanda section of this line. Gallant Sister raced 18 times in her career, 2 wins, a second and 2 thirds. 5 out of 18 starts in the first 3, for career earnings of $51,090 American dollars in her career. Gallant Sister, at some point in her career, managed to win the Daddy's Datsun Invitational Handicap when she was bred by W.R. Horn in Kentucky, sent to India as a broodmare in 1993, the 4th dam of our horse. Don't know if that is a pattern stakes race in America or not that she won. Did find a couple of horses in between the 4th and the 5th dam. America Alive is an interesting horse, a horse born in 2001, sired by American Chance out of a dam called Alive with Hope, who was foaled in 1991 and sired by Alidar. People will say that Awesome Account is the 2nd dam of this horse. America Alive raced 20 times in her career, 8 wins, 3 seconds and 3 thirds. 14 out of 20 starts in the first 3, for career earnings of $793,767 US dollars in her career. Interesting horse, America Alive. Group 1 winner. Managed to win the Woodford Reserve Turf Classic of 2005. She also won the Group 3 River City Handicap. She was 2nd in the Mervyn Muniz Handicap Group 2, 3rd in the Bernard Barrett Handicap, and the Firecrackers Breeders' Cup Handicap. At 3, she was also placed 3rd in the Group 3 Transylvania Stakes. If the horse was at stud at Venezuela at some point, I couldn't find any record of it siring anything, stands at Heras San Remo for owner Millhouse LLC. I didn't check JBIS actually, it's very rude of me not to check our favourite site, isn't it? So let me pause this video quickly and we'll see if JBIS can shine any light on this stallion. Hello everybody and welcome back. Yes, I'm going to check JBIS there. Best progeny, no applicable data. By racing year, no applicable data. So yeah, couldn't really find out the level of stallion ability of this horse, but it was a decent horse on the track. Group 1 winner. The next dam we're going to take a look at is Awesome Account, a mare born in 1982, sired by Lythard out of Special Account. So this horse here is a half-sister to the 4th dam of our horse, Gallant Sister. Awesome Account raced 18 times in her career, 5 wins, 3 seconds and 3 thirds. 11 out of 18 starts in the first 3, for career earnings of $81,485 US dollars in her career. Excuse me. Awesome Count was placed in 2 pattern races, the Convenience Stakes and the Nicosia Stakes. The horse bred by Due Process Stabled and owned by Hillendale Farm and Star Group Incorporated. You'll see there that she is a black type producer. And I found this horse here, Anguilla, a mare born in 1995, sired by Seattle Slew out of Awesome Account. Anguilla raced 16 times in her career, 7 wins, a second and 3 thirds, 11 out of 16 starts in the first 3, for career earnings of $541,564 US dollars in her career. Anguilla at 3, she managed to win the Group 2 Mrs. Revere Stakes of 1998 at 3. At 4, she won the Group 2 Black Helen Handicap of 1999. She also won the Group 2 Canadian Handicap and the Group 3 Nassau Stakes out in Canada. 2nd in the Hiale Breeders' Cup Turf as well. So yeah, triple Group 2 and Group 3 winner. Bred by Hillendale Farm and Due Process Stable and owned by John and Glenn Sikura. Good horse, Anguilla. Other horses that I found quite related to ours. Alcohol Free, a mare born in 2018, sired by No Nay Never out of a dam called Plying, who was born in 2010 and sired by Hard Spun. People will see that Special Account is also the 5th dam of Alcohol Free, as well as being the 5th dam of our horse, Sukanya. Alcohol Free raced 17 times in her career, 6 wins, a second and 3 thirds, 10 out of 17 starts in the first 3, for career earnings of $2,778,300 $525 Australian dollars. Although she did end her career in Australia, she was very well known for racing in the UK. She was a Group 1 winning 2-year-old, winner of the Cheveley Park Stakes of 2020. At 3, she won the Group 1 Coronation Stakes at Royal Ascot. She beat the Colts in the Group 1 Sussex Stakes at Glorious Goodwood in 2021, all-age race. And she also won this very race, the Group 3 Fred Darling Stakes at Newbury, the same race that Sukanya won. She was also 3rd in the Group 1 Falmouth Stakes. And at 4, she proved herself to be a top-class sprinter, winning the 6-furlong Group 1 July Cup. So this horse was a Group 1 winner at ages 2, 3 and 4. Placed in the Sussex and the Sandown Mile and 4th in the Lockage at 4. This horse was bred by Winstead Manor Stud and owned by Jeff C. Smith. She was a very good filly, it's fair to say. She raced in the UK and in Australia. But yeah, very good filly, alcohol-free. Shares the same 5th dam as our horse. We can take look at another couple more. Subsanador, a horse born in 2019, sired by Fortify, out of an Argentinian bred dam called Save the Date, who was born in 2015 and sired by Hurricane Cat. Subsanador raced 19 times in his career, 9 wins, 2 seconds and a third. 12 out of 19 starts in the first 3 for career earnings of $1,020,824 in his career. Wafnan Racing owned horse, this one. The horse is still going round in America, I think. Bred by Haras El Malin. The horse at 2 won 2 Argentinian Group 1 races, the Montevideo and the Estrellas Juvenile. At 3, the horse won the Group 1 GP de las Americas and the Group 3 El Virtuoso. At 4, the horse won the Group 2 Classico Peru and was 2nd in the Group 1 Santa Anita Handicap in America. At 5, the horse won an American Group 1 race, winning the California Crown Stakes of 2024. And the horse also won the Group 3 Philip H. Iselin Stakes, a Group 3 race at Monmouth. Pretty good horse, it's fair to say. Group 1 winner in both America and Argentina. Still racing, last raced May the 2nd at Oaklawn Park this year. The horse is still going round. Another one we can take a look at is Satu, a colt born in 2019, sired by Catcher in the Rye, out of a dam called Satalaya, who was foaled in 2014 and sired by Equal Stripes. Satu raced 8 times in his career, 4 wins, a second and a third, 6 out of 8 starts in the first 3, for career earnings of $16,816.5 American dollars. This horse raced purely in Argentina. Don't know why they put the prize money in American dollars. Satu managed to win the Group 3 Classico Invasor in 2023, and the horse also won the Group 1 Gran Premio Joaquin S. de Anchorena, a Group 1 race, in a track record at San Isidro in 2022. The horse was also placed 2nd in the 2023 GP Estrellas Mile, another race held at San Isidro. Horse bred by Haras Ebalongo, owned by Libertadores de America, and then Las Monjitas, and trained by Nicholas Martin Ferro. I did check on Arian, couldn't find any record of this horse ever standing at Stirling. It doesn't say it did here either. But yeah, pretty good horse. Group 1 winner in Argentina. We can now take a look at the 5th dam of our horse, Special Account, a mare born in 1972, sired by Buck Passer, out of Intriguing, a mare who was born in 1964 and sired by Swaps. Special Account raced 13 times in her career, 1 win, 1 second and 1 third, 3 out of 13 starts in the first 3, for career earnings of $9,170 American dollars in her career. Special Account didn't really hit the levels on the track, but she is, as we've looked at, a decent producer, producing a couple of black type horses. Horse bred by Ogden Phipps and owned by Due Process Stable. Like I said, a lot of the horses we can look at in the video on this horse that we took a look at last week. 6 Speed, a colt born in 2023, sired by, not this time, out of a dam called Browse, who was born in 2013 and sired by Medaglia d'Oro. People will see that number to count is the 5th dam of this horse. 6 Speed and Intriguing is the 6th dam of the horse. 6 Speed raced 5 times in his career up to this point. 3 wins, a second and a third. I think they forgot the Kentucky Derby existed, this site. For career earnings of $402,183 US, up to the point where he won in the UAE Derby. The horse also won the Group 3 2,000 guineas. UAE 2,000 guineas horse was second in the Group 2 UAE Derby this year. Both races held at Meydan. The horse bred by Katie Rich Farms and owned by Blue Blood Racing Syndicate, Kamlesh Martani and Dhruv Sani, and trained in the UAE by Bhupesh Sumar. But like I said, this horse did run in this year's Kentucky Derby, and we did take a look at it on this year's edition of Classic Watch 2026. So rather than bang on about the horses again for the second time in less than a month, what I can do is I can insert a YouTube video as a card in this video on 6 Speed to enable us to move on a bit quicker and speed things up for everybody. And I will insert the card into the video now. And that will enable us to move on a little bit from the immediate pedigree of this horse. We can take a look at the bloodline quickly on the historical site, bloodlines.net. Unfortunately, the site has still developed something called an Argo tunnel error, so people still have to go through the Wayback Machine at archive.org to be able to take a look at this Bloodline 1X on this site. People will see that is our section there. There is a Intriguing. It goes all the way back to a horse called Baby League, who was born in 1935. You know, we've covered a bit of ground there. You'll see that some of the horses there, such as Super Sabre, Woodman, and Muqtadim, and others that might have been on there, were discussed in the 6 Speed video. Horses like Poker was another one that was discussed in that video. So it's a fair damn line. It's produced the Kentucky Derby winner of 2010 in Super Sabre. You know, is it a classic line? You know, people would ideally like to see more in this little section when looked at this line generally. You know, but this is an interesting line, I do think. It's also probably the only line I would chance a horse with by Havana Gold on, Havana Grey on 6.3 furlongs. There's always going to be stamina doubts. Like I said, is this horse a classic horse? What we can do now is we can close down a few tabs to save on CPU, and we can watch the horse Sukanya win 2 races. We're going to watch her win first time out at Newbury, and then we're going to watch her win on her most recent start, which is again at Newbury. This horse has never gone off at single figures in her career. You know, she's always, the smallest price she's been on the day is 10-1. You know, there's value in this horse if she's good enough, but she needs to be good enough. You know, will she be good enough? Let's take a look at her win first time out, shall we, at Newbury, and then we will be able to see what we think.
Gates back and away they go. They are racing without Catalyst in the Compton Beecham Fillies Restricted Novice Stakes over the 6 furlongs. Due Destiny shows pretty good pace. So too does Country Artiste in the maroon and yellow colours, and it's that one that leads. Miracle of the Andes in the maroon and beige is also prominent. Then Due Destiny taken back into third. Stardinia, the purple jacket, races in around about 4th position, followed then by Jamie Summers, and then Singe, the orange jacket, followed then by Calling a Star. In mid-division, Simplify, the sheepskin noseband, followed then by Ticket to the Stars. Sukanya is towards the rear of the field at the moment. So too Doodling Nur Zamin is being driven along. Jawala is last but one, and right at the rear of the field is Pretty Danielle. They're inside the final 3 furlongs already. Country Artiste towards the near side. Stardinia and Miracle of the Andes towards the far as we look at them. Singe, the orange jacket, has got clear, running now in 4th. Trying to stay on a little bit in 5th is Jamie Summers. Then towards the near side, Simplifies getting going, and after that Doodling. Still lots of chances as they come towards the final furlong and a half. It's Country Artiste now getting going. A Ticket to the Stars down the centre of the track. Then Miracle of the Andes, not much from Stardinia. Sukanya is after that, followed then by Doodling, who's also staying on as well. Country Artiste Sukanya, who's really sticking her neck out now, and she goes on, and it's Sukanya at the line to beat Country Artiste into second. Tight for third. Jawala was absolutely roaring home. Doodling was in there as well.
Interesting performance, that, I thought, from Sukanya. For a sprint-bred horse running first time out over 6 furlongs, I don't think there's any issue there on my part on debut with the way that horse has hit the line. You know, the horse has got to the front of the race, held up at the rear, wasn't it, at the start, just to educate her. And then as they came into the closing stages of the race, I thought that was a very good performance from Sukanya. There didn't look to be much luck about it, did there? You know, I thought on the day she ran out a very worthy winner on debut, and trainer Jack Shannon, I'm sure, would have been very happy with that performance on the day. The form then for 5 or 6 starts was rather what it was, it's fair to say, the horse. Yeah, people will see that after that race, she lost her next 4 races, sadly, finishing 7th at Ascot, finishing 4th at Goodwood in 2 Group 3s, gaining a listed placed effort, which at the point was her best one, in Ireland, and then finishing 9th out of 10, beaten 13 lengths by Xanthos in the Group 2 Rockvale Stakes. By now, she was up from 6 furlongs to 7 furlongs, so definitely heading in the right classic direction. And it was on the 18th of April 2026 where she returned to the scene of her first time out victory, Newbury, to contest the Group 3 Fred Darling Stakes, a traditional classic trial here in the United Kingdom. Again, she was probably relatively exposed after those 4 runs after her first time out victory. So the price of that day was again a very generous 16-1. People will note that the horse has been ridden by 4 different jockeys in 6 races. You know, Probert's ridden her twice, Basser's ridden her twice, Marquand's ridden her once, and Ronan Whelan's ridden her once. So it'd be nice to see her build up some sort of relationship with a jockey at some point. But you'll see the entries of the horse, Sukanya, which we looked at. She's in the Irish 1,000 guineas tomorrow, and she's also in the Coronation Stakes, a Group 1 race over 1 mile. Doesn't look to be any Oaks entries, surprisingly, for a horse sired by Havana Grey. That would be, I would say, testing the limit. But without further ado, let's take a look now at the Group 3 Fred Darling Stakes of 2026, and we will then see what we think.
And they're ready. They're off. They have 7 furlongs to go here. Silenciosa in the orange is slow to go. Tulane, one from the right, is with Elusive Butterfly in a white jacket, with towards the left the white face of Spinning Lizzie. Bling his sister in yellow in the centre in a prominent position. The best turned out winner, Fig Jam. The hoops of red and maroon on the sleeves is Keen. Splish Splash in red is with this, and Stimulative Trip in green also in a prominent position. Zooming a pale jacket followed by another pale jacket, K. Sarah towards the left. Dominant Ignis in the centre. Tulane in blue and white colours should be halfway down the field at this stage. Then Silenciosa from Catching the Moon towards the back of the field, with Petrol Princess is on the right with the orange cap, and Sukanya is the back marker. They've 3 furlongs to go. The white face of Spinning Lizzie showing out in front. Running in second is the white jacket of Elusive Butterfly. Bing his sister behind these. Tulane is the blue and white jacket, one from the right, and being followed through with her run by Catching the Moon. Dominant Ignis behind this, zooming against the running red in light blue, puts in a big run as well. A furlong to go, and zooming against the running rail, Tulane in the blue and white. Sukanya, further Thomas in a big challenge as well. Sukanya and Tulane together to Elusive Butterfly. Sukanya and David Probert will win. Tulane second, Dominant Ignis in third position, Elusive Butterfly behind these to zooming. Fig Jam in Silenciosa, and they trail back to Splish Splash.
Again, that horse has hit the line well, and the first time we've seen the horse over 7 furlongs as a 3-year-old in 2026. I thought again that was a very good performance from Sukanya to land her first pattern race victory on her most recent start. Yeah, they didn't look to be that much of luck about it, did they? You know, the horse just came through at the right time, delivered well by jockey David Probert on the day, rather like the jockey George Bass delivered her on debut. And yeah, I thought that was a very good victory by Sukanya to take out the Group 3 Fred Darling Stakes. You saw the horse that was behind her there, Tulane. I think she finished about 5th or 6th in the UK Guineas. She's also got form with Diamond Necklace, the French 1,000 Guineas winner. You know, I think this is an interesting horse, Sukanya. Is she a classic horse? Well, she's actually entered in the Irish 1,000 Guineas. She was at no point entered in the English Guineas that I saw. So I think this has been the plan for some time with the filly to go back to Ireland, where she gained her black type as a 2-year-old. And if this horse does line up in the Irish 1,000 Guineas tomorrow afternoon, there is a fair chance that you will see this horse, Sukanya, on Classic Watch 26.great/site.net. I think it will probably, more than likely, be the first horse chanced by Havana Grey in any edition of the site as well. Although, did we the filly that we might try, the Platinum Queen? Can't remember what side that one. Yeah, that was an interesting one. That might have been Havana Grey as well. But yeah, very interesting horse, Sukanya. And hopefully she progresses well throughout the season. Right, I think I can leave this video here now. Thank you very much for taking the time to sit here with me watching it. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. I will leave you a copy, as I always do, in a Classic Watch video, to the Classic Watch 26 Possibles playlist at the end of this video to see how people, if they haven't seen enough of my horses in watching this one video, they can watch the playlist and watch plenty more. I will also give you all an opportunity to subscribe to the channel as well. That way you can enable your YouTube notifications in a certain way that you will not miss any of my videos moving forward. YouTube will send you a notification if you enable your notifications correctly. I will also give you an option to subscribe. But apart from that, I think I can think about ending this video here. Now we've just seen the Aidan O'Brien horse Causeway land the Group 3 race. I think it's the Gallinule Stakes, is it? The Group 3 race. Can't remember what it was called there. Not exactly an impressive performance, but all they can do is win at this stage. I was disappointed that the horse never ran today in the Irish 2,000 Guineas, and he didn't really look as though he was gagging for an extra 2 furlongs there in a Derby trip as well. But that's all for another day. I will leave this video here. Take care, everybody. Look after yourselves and your loved ones. Enjoy your weekend. Like I said, Japanese Oaks coming up and the Irish 1,000 Guineas coming up on Sunday. But for now, I definitely think I'm going to think about leaving this video. Look after yourselves and your loved ones. And I hope to be back at some point with another video of some description, sorry. All right, that's all for me now. Take care, everybody, and goodbye.